Good morning, everybody. We have a little bit of Paragon searching today and a little bit about the Collab Center as well. When I'm on the home page, you see you have a contact activity box right here. You can have your contacts, anything new will come up right here. If I have some comments, any new searches, or if they are on the Collab Center, they will be here. So I do have one new. So you click into the new, and that's going to bring me right to the contact that is new. So if there's multiple contacts that are there, they will be right there, and you will see there's changed. There were 4 changes in those listings since I last looked at Lisa's. All right, so you guys know you've got a couple of handouts on the right-hand side of your screen. You can also find those in Paragon. So just a little bit of help while everybody's logging in. At the very top is where we keep the MLS documents. There's a lot of information in here. Let me just scroll this down to the My Real Source MLS folder. You see we have 89 files. Education. These are all my cheat sheets for Paragon and all of our products. We do have copyright documents, forms library is here, but honestly, your forms are going to be in transaction desk. That's where they really are. And even our governing docs and request forms as well. And we do even have a whole folder for new agent onboarding. It's for our newer members. It has a couple of cheat sheets in there specific for just the newer ones. But in the education folder, you can narrow this down by just typing in Paragon. So anything for Paragon, you've got listing entry in Paragon, mapping in Paragon. So everything that we've done, throughout the years, as this stuff is old, I'll take it out and replace and update. We have a description on the right-hand side, and of course, when they were last updated as well. So if you're looking for searching, if you're looking for Collab Center, remember less is more when you're searching. It's just like searching in the MLS. You rarely ever enter in the entire address when you're looking for something. You do the route of the street and the city, less is more, and you're generally going to get it there. So here's all my information about Collab Center, all my cheat sheets. But we have, for you today, there's 4 different ones, 2 for the collab, 1 for searching, and then 2 for searching. So there you go. All right. So what do we want to do today? We want to go a little further in depth into searching in Paragon. You guys know that there's a couple different ways to search. First off, my favorite is my market monitor. This is what I am keeping an eye on the right-hand side. My market monitor, blow that up a little bit for you guys. So my market monitor is just the stuff that I'm keeping an eye on. And luckily here in St. Clair, East China School District has a very good footprint in the area. So for me, that's all I have. Instead of doing multiple cities, I just want to know what's going on in the East China School District. And so there are 8 new listings in the 7 days. And if I want, I can change this. The moment it won't stick. So what's going on in the last 30 days? And tap refresh. Now 7 is the max days that you can ask the system to return results. But on a single time, you can ask a 30-day, 20 days, whatever you like. So there have been 30 new listings in the last 30 days in the East China School District. So you guys know you can click any one of these. You go either into the 30 or the new, and you will access those listings. Now, one of the other things that I absolutely do love, when you're looking for your listings, where is the easy way to find them? That's going to be right here under My Info. You'll see I am not a listing agent. I hold a real estate license, but I do not use it. I work full-time for the MLS and 2 other jobs. So at any time, I can see what's new, all of my listings in the last sold. I'm still at 30 days at the moment. And then, of course, your office is the office that you are licensed out of. So remember, you have your office, which you are licensed out of. That's going to be the one where your license sits. If you want to see all of the listings for your brokerage that are in my Real Source, they will be found under Firm. So at any time, you can see all of the brokerage's listings here. And I'm sure Dean would love it for you to sell out of your own inventory. You also have a quick search on the left-hand side. I will remind you that this is not the place where you start a search for automated emails for your clients. This is just a quick search. You need to look up something now. This is what you do. And you actually can save it and you can load that last quick search. What were the last things that I did? And that's going to be these here. So that's the really nice thing, that it does keep those in the history for you. And I absolutely love that, because there's plenty of times that I ran a search, did not save it, but I want to go back and look at what I did. You also have your power search, don't forget. Type in your address here, partial, full, whatever you want. So I do have a saved search called Glen Eagles, and there were 2 listings regarding this property here. So I can either A, select the one, or B, if I want to pull up the spreadsheet view and see both of them, I just click on the listings too. So that in a nutshell are your searches off the main screen. There's also down at the very, very bottom of the screen, at the very bottom blue bar, I have shortcuts down here as well. You have 2 that are a default. So I can access my saved property searches down here. Realist, I just made some shortcuts for myself. And to add shortcuts, if you find yourself constantly going to some place and taking 2 clicks, 3 clicks to get there, you can add it right down at the bottom. At the bottom right, there is the little gear. That's how you edit the bottom blue bar. The same goes for all of these boxes. If you want to edit this box, here's your widget. If you want to monitor, there's your little widget there, the edit the widget. These little boxes are called widgets. So let's go into our search icon and really see what we can do with some searching. Now, right off the bat, you guys know you have to pick the class that you're wanting to run a search in. You can also do a multi-class search if you're looking for both multifamily and single-family residential. So you can do that. However, if you're setting up a search for your client, I would probably add multiple searches for my client, because the criteria are going to be very different for each one of those searches. And we'll go into that in just a second. Now you can go straight into a map search, and that is going to be a multi-class search. So therefore, I rarely ever go here. You also have a hot sheet report. This is for any changes that have occurred on your criteria. So I can run a hot sheet report, and then once I have done it, I can run an auto hot sheet report. This tells me that the last it was on September 14th at 10:16. So when I select that, it's going to give me any changes since the last time I ran it. And it does have some criteria, because I do know some people that were trying to run a search in the MLS and see if it has anything new. Is anything new? Why don't you just set yourself up on an automatic search, or either B, use that hot sheet report. So if you want to run it in 10 minutes and see what's transpired, you certainly can. So this is broken up by classes. Here's residential. And so there's going to be a little bit of information here because it's been a while. And then we go into different classes. So you'll see what the changes are. Here's the status. Here's our new. These went to active. This went pending. These closed. So now by the end of class, you'll be able to see what's transpired since 10:12 a.m. You can also run history reports, but honestly, if I'm looking at a property history, I'm going to the property itself and then clicking on the H for history. If I would like to find out, so if I knew Dean Sign had a listing, but I remember it was his listing and it was over on such and such a street, but gosh, I can't remember. So I can honestly pull an inventory report of agents in my office. I can also do my own listings. Now I have more options than you. I can pull other offices, but you guys are going to be able to see listings for your office or your firm. So that's a really nice piece there. Tour and open houses are going to be as simple as that, finding tours and open houses in an area. And then of course to the right, you have saved property searches, which anything that you save under the searching icon will be here. And also listing carts. Now listing carts are just it serves two purposes. Number one, it's just a place where I can keep listings that, oh, you know, I really liked that listing. I was keeping an eye on it. And instead of searching for it again, I'm just going to put it in the listing cart so I can easily find it. And B, I can use the listing carts for my clients. So either A, you know, I'm going to save a property search for my client, but maybe I also have a couple of other listings that I really, really like for my client. And this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to add them to a listing cart, and that would allow me to make agent recommendations. And that is a really cool piece there. All right, so let's get into some searching. So maybe we're searching for residential status. As I just tab my way through, I can type in A and I will get all active. Now remember, all active gives you everything. Those accepting back, coming soon, and contingency applies. Searching by the map. Now this is a really cool piece. The mapping in here is very powerful. And we do have a couple of questions. Deepak Salas was nice enough to let me know a couple of things that she really likes on the mapping. So we are, you know, we're bouncing that around with support and see what we can do to help make that happen for her. All right, so my map comes up where I asked it to. Usually your map is going to come up to where your office is, unless you tell the system, you know, actually this is my farming area, this is where I want. This is where I want my map to come up, and that you'll do in your preferences wizard, which is a really nice piece. So if you're looking in Grosse Pointe Farms, or just Grosse Pointe, I'm gonna say Grosse Pointe, Michigan, and then I have to hit return to move the map to the center of Grosse Pointe. Now that's a really nice thing because I don't have to, you know, click and drag my map or do anything like that. And if I'm looking for, you know, a 5-mile radius within the center of Grosse Pointe, that's easy to do. I just enter in the 5 in the miles and then search the radius. You don't want to click search. That's going to run the search. And we don't have any criteria in here except residential and active. So I'm going to put that radius on the map. And there you see we have a lot of listings here. Now, one of the things that I do like about the map saying, okay, yes, my client wanted to be within 5 miles of here, but you know, actually, she doesn't want to be on the west side of Gratiot. Okay, how do you do that? Besides cherry picking listings, there's an easier way. What you want to do is map out an area and say, no, I don't want these. So you're going to go to the draw, and there are a couple of different tools. There are 3 different tools here that you can add on the map. The radius is what we already did. The rubber band is simply a rectangle, but the polygon allows me to freehand. So I'm going to go ahead and tap my polygon, and now you'll see my cursor has changed to the crosshair, and I'm just going to start on Gratiot up in East Point. I'm going to tap once with my mouse. This is not a click and drag. This is a click and release, and I'm going to move my cursor down and click again. So now I want to make it turn. So every time I want this thing to turn, I have to click. So I will click here, and then I'm going to end where I began, right there. So now, of course, mapping is generally going to believe that you're adding maps to your, or adding shapes to your map. This is not the case here. What I want to do is exclude this area. So I'm going to go in and edit that drawing. And here is the polygon we just drew. Now do not click the X, because that'll just remove it from the map. So over here it says include. So I'm going to uncheck, and now that's going to move to exclude. So now you see that this is red. I'm going to close out my editing of the map. Now this was also very useful if I'm looking in a school district as well, and I only want one of the schools. Now we had a good conversation the other day with one of the agents, and she was really trying to get just, I believe it was Grosse Pointe South. And you really have to map that out, because Paragon will give you the school district, but not the attendance zone. So which school goes to where? That's what you need, is the attendance zone. You can find that in HomeSnap. All right, so here's our map. You can add several map shapes on here for whatever you need. So we'll go ahead and go back to my criteria. You'll see it's always going to be looking at these tabs up here where you are. So I'm in the residential, and I'm going to go back to the criteria. Because remember, all we had was residential and active, and now we have those map shapes. I don't always have to select whether I want for sale or for rent. If I'm starting at 200 or 250, then it's automatically going to knock out those items that are for rent. Just pick an arbitrary number here, 250 to 350. So, and you'll see that it automatically counts. Every time that I add criteria, your number is going to change. Now, maybe I do want to add in the county. So we do have the map shapes here, but maybe they don't want to go into the next county. They just wanted to make sure that they're within this county. Structure style, you guys know, 1, 1.5, 2 stories. Minimum, maximum beds and baths. Now, if you enter in a minimum, that will give you 3 and above. If I only wanted 4 maximum, then I would add it. Your bathrooms total. This is the number of bathrooms in the home. If I put a 2 here, that's a total baths. It could give me 1.5 baths, because that's 2, or 2 full baths. So just remember, when you're running your searches, that is the case on the bathrooms total. Now remember, if you find you always search by bathrooms full, I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. I'm going to click the down arrow for the secondary criteria and scroll down. The bathrooms full and half are down here. These can be customized and taken out of here and put up on the top, up in here. So if you find that that's the way you always search, either I can make that happen for you, just send me an email, or you can just write it, send me a little question in there saying, Debbie, could you please help me customize my Paragon later? And I will definitely reach out to you. All these fields, you know what they mean. So one of the things that we introduced into the MLS within the last year were these, the equals, not equals to, contains, these fields here. These are your wildcards. So if I was looking for something on Main Street, maybe I'm looking for North Main, I'm not sure, maybe it could be South Main. As long as it contains Main, then it will be found. Of course, there's no Main Street in that area. So I can either have contains, it does equal, not equal to, anything but Main. I don't want Main Street. Cool, no problem. Now we still have 42. So and that's one of the things you can also do on here. I don't want anything on Main Street, but I do want everything else in that map. Okay. Multiple addresses, you can put in the number and the street name. So I would put in 649 Glen Eagles, 1960 Vine, not the rest of the full addresses. I just use the route, the number and the street route name. Structure style, remember all of these are going to be at your discretion what you want to use. Now, one of the big things is going to be your feature codes. Feature codes is everything. And one of the ones we were looking at Tuesday was natural gas. You know, my client hates natural gas, whatever the case may be. They just do not want natural gas. So I'm just going to type in natural. And there we are, gas. My client must not have natural gas. And you're telling me that that many listings have natural gas in growth. Wow, that's amazing. Very nice. So I can either put it in the must not have. I can put it in the must have. So I'll remove it out of here and put natural and select. And that's what I love about the autofill. So it did reduce it by 2. Now remember, the other one is the must have 1 or more. So I'm going to open this up for you guys. And maybe we'll go into basement. So as long as I get either a walkout basement, I don't think I'm going to get it in the area, or a partially finished basement, as long as they hit one of these, or wood basement, as long as my search matches either this or that, then it will come up. And if I save this one, I'm sure I will get a lot less. There we go. So these are the things I love about the feature codes. And you can use that for your financing as well. As long as they either have cash or FHA, we're good. So financing is in here, outbuildings, community features. And sometimes, I was looking at a listing yesterday that somebody put in community features include something. And I think it's more for like associations and stuff like that. But you know, it can be stretched. You can use community for a lot of things. Okay, so your school district. So this is what we were looking at the other day. So I'm looking at Grosse Pointe. Public schools. Now remember, there's going to be the 2 high schools in here, Grosse Pointe North and Grosse Pointe South. So if I wanted to make sure that I only wanted one high school as opposed to the other, I would fix that in my mapping. All right, and we'll leave the rest. That's fine. We could do garage, square foot. I've got 15 results at the minute. I'm going to stay with that. So I'm going to go ahead and search. And your spreadsheet, and you see, look, so we were looking at one of the criteria yesterday, heating fuel type, that's natural gas. And I wanted to make sure that these results were coming in from our data share partners. I wanted to make sure that they do. And you can add these in. So anytime you're looking at comparing a lot of listings, you can customize. So I'll go into customize in those fields. Maybe I wanted to make sure what is the level of the main bedroom. So I would put bedroom in my search. Let's see, floor coverings, bedroom 1. So these are the nice things you can also add. So maybe you wanted laundry, floor covering, the length, the level. So I'm going to double tap, and that puts it over here on the right-hand side. Now I can also just select the box and tap add, and it will go down to the bottom. So maybe this is not where I want my laundry room. Either A, I can select the box and tell it to move up, tap, 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 or I can click and drag and put it here. See, I already had bedroom 1 level over here. That's why it would not come up on my search. And then I will save this. And the same, I can also make these bigger, smaller. I've added a lot here. Here's the agent name on here. So if I'm looking for something in particular, and I wanted to make sure that the bedroom, the main bedroom was on the main floor, well, here's one here. These are on the second. So it's just another way of helping me figure out what is actually in these listings, as opposed to opening up every single one. And I can also tap on the column header and sort these. So bedroom 1 level, these are not noted. First, second, seeing laundry room level, these laundry rooms in the basement. Now, one of the things I do like about this, because as I customize my stuff so much, so I'm going to go back into my customize and customize those fields. Now, just as a side note here, when you customize this particular spreadsheet, you are not customizing all of your spreadsheets. You are only doing it for this particular search. And every time you run a residential search, that's the spreadsheet that will come up. It's not going to change your search from the Market Monitor or any other place. So I'm going to go back into customize my fields. So when I have this thing so messed up that I have just really done some crazy stuff, down on the bottom, there's revert to default. And I'm going to tap OK. And then it's going to put it back the way that it comes from the MLS. And you'll see there's how it comes in from the MLS. Remember, all your fields are sortable. Your column headers are sortable as well. You can also pick different spreadsheets here. As I scroll down under the reports button on the right-hand side, that's the green reports button, I can open up the folder called spreadsheets. I do have a few in here. For Fannie Mae, we have hits count, residential details, but say I'm looking at stuff, lease and options and land contracts, that will change all of those columns in there according to that type of a search. Maybe I need a listing report spreadsheet, just the numbers only, but there's a couple of ones in here that's really nice. All right. So as I click into these listings, you can also change the reports as well. You can change them on a single basis. So if I change it here and I just go look at something else. So maybe I needed more information about this listing. I'm going to go into the all fields detail. I want to see every piece of information that was entered in on this listing. And this is where you will find it. So if you want everything, and I think this one will be divided up here soon as well. It's a lot of information in there. There's information on the listing, taxes and financial, rooms and dimensions and what levels they are. And there's all your feature codes together. So this is really everything, including all of the photos as well. Where did you find laundry? Okay, so Kim was asking me about where I found the laundry. So I'm going to get out of this report. I can either go back on the right-hand side. Never use your browser back button. Don't use the browser back up here. I'm going to go back. That'll get me to the last report. And then back again, going back to here. So Kim, you were asking where I found the laundry. So it is not on your basic spreadsheet. That's something, if I'm looking, if that's a criteria that I'm really interested in, it's just a very big factor for my client, I can add it to my spreadsheet here. So how do we add or customize our spreadsheet? So we're going to go up to customize on the blue bar, and it's going to be the fields. And I have a search bar on the upper left, so I'm going to type in laundry. And here's where we are. So if I was concerned about where that laundry room is located, what level is it on? So I'm going to select it on the left-hand side. I'm going to click add, and it's going to go to all of my fields here. So this is everything that I have on my spreadsheet. So it's going to go to the bottom so you can find it. I don't want to move that up, maybe towards the bathrooms and the bedrooms. And I will say save. So as I scroll to the right, I will now see where that laundry room is. And if you want beds, anything you can add in here. So if that's something that you're always looking at, where's the basement? My clients just are really concerned about that. We need to make sure that we have a first floor laundry room. You can also add that in your criteria. But remember, there are some that do not have it entered in. So it's not a mandatory field. So that's why I really wouldn't include it in my search. Is there a way to view homes by price point or days on the market? Yes, there is, Chelsea. All right, days on the market. So are you looking at these? So I will start here on the spreadsheet. So days on market is going to be cumulative days on market. That will be right here. So I can tap by the column header, and that's going to sort it. So the newest will be on top. And if I click it again, the oldest will be on top. This one's been on the market 101 days and 162. So there's searching by days on market. As I go back to the criteria, so on my under my tab here, I can go back to my criteria and refine this by how long has it been on the market. So I'm going to scroll all the way down to the bottom. Remember, if this isn't open, you've got the little box or the arrow there to tap it, open. And days on market, you can search right here. So if I'm looking for anything that's been on the market at least 30 days, I would tap, enter in 30. And now you'll see as I scroll up, I now have 7 listings, and that's reduced my number. So, and to view homes by the price point. So yep, as I search, the list price is the asking price right here. These will be sorted from lowest to highest. That's your natural sort here. And as I tap the column header again, I reverse sort. Now I've got the highest to lowest. Come on. So, and also, if you're wanting to search by price point, you also have your criteria at the very top here, your price from low to high. Anything from 250 to 350. Chelsea, was there anything else that you needed on that one? And Kim, I'm glad you got it. All right. So we have about another 20 minutes in class. So I wanted to make sure that you guys get all of this kind of stuff here. There is some really strong features about Paragon and how to search. We also have multiple tools. We have HomeSnap, which the one thing I really love about HomeSnap, remember that is our app. It sits on top of the MLS, so it is as up to date as Paragon is. So no sooner than it's entered into Paragon, you will see it in HomeSnap. And in HomeSnap, you can actually search by school attendance zone. So if you want to go to a particular high school, you can find it in HomeSnap, because the high school attendance is not a required field. So that's a very strong point there. And when you are searching for multiple items, you can find things under here like site condo. No, I don't want site condos. Yes, I want a site condo. And if that's one thing that you always find yourself looking at, you can take these, remove them out of the bottom container, and then put it in the top under that customize. So when you customize the fields here, and they go into the fields, remember you have those 2 containers, the top container and the bottom container, and here's where they are. So the primary is the one up top, and then the secondary is that the bottom one. So I'm going to select that secondary criteria, and if I find that site condo is always something that I want up top, that's just very, very, very important to me, I'm going to remove it out of this one. So I select it and tap remove. Now it will be over here. So site condo is now here. I want to add it to the primary criteria. So I will select it again and add it. So I've taken it out of that bottom box and put it in the top. Now remember, when you add something in, it goes right to the bottom. So you'll always know where it's at. It's right at the bottom. And I'm going to just click and drag and get that all the way up to the top. So maybe I want site condo right there. And I'm going to apply and save it. Now, if I want to keep this, I'm going to apply and save as. And that should stay there. Now, the other day, it was not saving for me, so I put a support ticket in and making sure that they get that adjusted for us. So there's my site condo, yes, no. So whatever you typically use, you can customize this to fit your every single need. One of the other things I want to show you is your criteria summary over here. Because as you enter in your criteria and you see that, oh yes, thank you, site condo. Got to save that one. Okay, good. All right. So now you see there are 7 here, and I have all of my criteria. So if I realize that, oh, 7 is not enough. So maybe I need to pull something out. Maybe I will edit the days on market. So if I want to edit it, I'm going to tap that blue button, and it's going to bring me right to the criteria here, and I can edit that. Or either B, if I just want to remove the days on market, I can tap the red X and remove that criteria. So as you're scrolling through and looking at your criteria, you can see what easily needs to be changed. Because it's all right there, as opposed to trying to look through here and see out of all these fields what's entered. So that's the nice thing that I do have this. All right, you're welcome, Chelsea. Patty, can you show us how to run the automated search for our buyers through the Collab Center? Yes, indeed, I would love to. Okay, so I find a lot of times it's best to go right to the contacts module, and I'm going to add my contact. I'm going to say this is Betty Buyer. She is my favorite. Now, the first thing I want you to know is this very piece right here, Collab Center search options. This is going to say that she's on the Collab Center. She's allowed to create new searches. The other thing is doing an agent preview. So we'll go ahead and do that today. So we'll select that. This is called it their concierge mode. This is agent preview. So you have to preview the listings before they go to your clients. You know exactly what your clients need, and you are going to be doing your work. So this is Betty Buyer, Betty and Buyer. Now there is a lot of information that I can add into the contact module, but first name, last name, and email address is all she needs. Now as I hit tab, it's going to give me a green arrow. Looks like a valid email. And I do want to select that this is going to be the primary email. Now, if she has a spouse, Bobby, we can add him here as well. I'm going to add his email. Now, I do not want to mark him as the primary because that would remove it from Betty and he would be the primary, but honestly, it doesn't matter. It just gave me a green checkbox to say, yes, it looks like a valid email. And yes, I do want to add the spouse or the secondary to the notifications. So I want to save my buyer. And yes, you saw the green success box in the upper right-hand corner. Now, either I can go through the green next on the right-hand side and keep tabbing through here, and you will stumble right into either I can create a new search, or if I already had a search created, I can just simply pull that. So I'm going to go ahead and to save time, we are going to just select an existing saved search. And we will do the lottery search. That's always the fun one. And save. Now I could also pick multiple searches as well, but we'll save that for another time. So here, now on the left-hand side, we are under the buyer activity folder. And we have the lottery search is for my client. Now we have them set to the Collab Center because that's the best way to get listings to your clients. They have the opportunity to mark as favorites, possibles, rejects. Now, if I don't change these settings, my client is going to get immediate emails and I will also get immediate emails. So Collab Center has agent emails that are specifically designed for the agents. Now, I do need to send that welcome message. And you do have to note, in a minute you will see it. So it does go to Betty and her husband Bobby, and welcome to your Collab Center for buyers. You will notice that this is blank because each one is going to be different. So that's why if you wanted to see what it looks like, go ahead and preview it. Your headshots in here. So you got Betty Buyer and Bobby. And it gives them some information about this. Remember, you can also do agent picks. That's your recommended listings. If you have something that's outside of their search criteria and you want to add it in there, maybe it's just a little outside of their price range or a block further away than what they really wanted, you can use agent picks. They can favorite possible and reject listings. They can create their own folders. And of course, it is branded to you, your brokerage logo, your headshot. Now, I have all of the social media sites in my Collab Center added. If I don't have anything in my Twitter box, this icon will not show. So I just wanted to show you guys what they look like. And then I'm going to send that to my client. And remember, always the green email sent, that green success, close. Now here is your warning. Listings must be approved to appear in their Collab Center. At this minute, nothing is in their Collab Center. So you'll see all of these need approval. So if I didn't set them up on Agent Preview, they would go to them. They would all be there. But this client needs a little bit more attention. She's very specific. Maybe she wanted to make sure that the laundry is on the main floor. So I would click into the 21, not approve all, because that's just going to send them all. So I want to go into those 21. And I will look at each one to see if, maybe if their laundry wasn't marked, I would go in, look at all the photos, make sure that this was or was not applicable for my client. All right. You can go through, find hopefully where the laundry is, and then let them know that yes, this one's approved. Yes, this one's approved. This one, these, and these. We're going to say that all of these are approved. So now that I've selected them on the left, I'm going to go ahead and say on the blue bar, I want to approve those 8 selected. So I'm going to approve. And approved listings are going to be undecided in their Collab Center and approve. And maybe the last of these are all unapproved, so I can simply select all and disapprove those. So now here's what we have. Nothing needs approval, and all the other ones are going to be in the undecided. Okay, so as we close out of the Betty Buyer tab right here, I do have mine sorted, so where everybody who's active is at the top. I don't have these in alphabetical order. If you would like to make sure to have your most recent activity up at the top, you can either sort by last notified or last accessed. So I do it by last time that they accessed. So if I click it once, it's going to sort by oldest to newest. Click it again, and then you're going to get the newest up at the top. So now you'll see this client has not accessed it because I just sent it to her. There she is, Betty Buyer. You can also tap the plus here on the left-hand side to see what searches there are. I believe this client here should have multiple searches. So I have the waterfront search, my favorite lottery search, and here's that agent recommended. So how do you get an agent recommended listing to your client? Because it's one thing to say that, yes, you can just send an email to your client. That is easy as can be. But what happens when you find a listing and that you know your client is going to love this one? So I'm just going to go into my market monitor, find the most expensive listing at the bottom, and here it is. This one, I think my client would love this. It's on the water, it's a multifamily. She's going to love this one, but it's just outside of her criteria. So we are going to save this listing and we're going to put it into a listing cart. This is not for myself, but for my contact. And you'll see just that current one that I was on. And I can either use my magnifier or start just typing in here, Betty. And there she is. Select her. Go to Save and Notify. Because we want to make sure that her notifications are set on this as well. And you'll see that she always gets immediate and I always get immediate as the default. So when I go into the settings, and if I want to change that, you'll see here are my client notifications and my agent notifications. Because generally what I like to do, I like to set all my clients up so I get it first thing in the morning. I get an email of what's going on with my buyers. So I'm going to set myself up as recurring. Now I do have to set that time frame. When do I want my email? Am I checking it at 6 a.m., 11 a.m.? So I can definitely change this, and I can do that for my clients as well. If they take lunch at noon and that's when they're always checking it, maybe I can send them a daily report at noon. So I did change this in my defaults. I went through my preferences wizard and I told it 7 a.m. is what I want. It just saves me from changing this every single time. So I just tap OK. And now anything that Bobby and Betty have done, whether they've favorited, possible, or rejects, I will know at 7 a.m. And they will all come in on one email. And I love the fact that Deepak Solis had mentioned that in training the other day. She's like, you know, I love it. I set it up so everybody comes to me first thing in the morning. I see a report of what everybody is doing. I like that. And that's how I usually have mine set up as well. And then tap OK. And that's how you do it. So you can also add a listing right from here. I can add notes and I can view their Collab Center too. So now the other thing that Lisa and I were talking about, she's like, well, you know, I would really appreciate it if I could see it on my main dashboard over here under that contact widget. But what you do get, so you want to be notified immediately when there is a listing to be approved. And I already have that email up, so I want to show you. So this is my email that came in. This is actually my seller side. So this is just a little different. Did not pull up the other one for you guys. So in the Collaboration Center, you can also add your seller. So if Bobby and Betty, let's go into the contacts, they're already open here. If Bobby and Betty were sellers as well as buyers, you'll want to add them to the seller activity. Now this does have to be your listing because you can't just associate any property willy-nilly. You have to select a listing. And you'll see I have none. So you simply just select the listing and tap save and turn on the reports for your client. And then to see what your clients are getting is this email. So Audra is the listing agent, I'm the buyer, and I am getting a summary report of my home on Erdman Road. There's been 18 real estate views, agent views, 5 prospective buyers found this week. And what are those people doing? They've been favoriting, possibly rejecting, and there's still some that have been, they just never did anything with them. There's been 3 real estate agents that have recommended this property to their clients. And does this come in anybody's saved searches? Looks like no, not at the moment. social activity, and of course, my agent as well. So what I want to show you also, because you see that one email, how do you see the emails that are going to your clients? You know, maybe you just didn't see it, whatever. So you can go right down here to the message history. That's your bottom left. Anything that has transpired with my clients are going to be here. So far, they have that welcome to the Collaboration Center. And as I tap into here, I have to scroll down and I will see exactly what was sent to them. Now, as I go into a different buyer, there's the message history, and you will see a very robust amount of information here. There's pages upon pages. You will see that these are automatic emails, and you also have manual emails. No manual emails at the moment. These are both for your buyer as well as you, because this one went to me and my client, the automatic email. Very nice. So now you see all of the information, what's going on. And as I tap into this, scroll down, there are the total updates. There is Beatrice Buyer. So here's the saved search. There are 2 matches. Here's the 2, a new match and a new match. And here's also that secondary search, the Kelly's waterfront search, because my client has 2 separate searches for this client. So if I have one search for vacant land, you'll see Kelly's vacant land. And if the first one is Kelly's residential search, you will see what is transpiring under each search for your client. And they mark this as a favorite. See, and that's why you always want your clients marking things as favorites, possibles, rejects. It keeps their Collab Center clean. Here we go. And this is the email that you will get when your client is on agent preview. Here's the big note. You must approve listings before your client can see them in the Collab Center. So I got this email for my client, Debbie Gmail Fajardo. Here is the one new match. I have to go into Paragon and approve or deny this one. Actually, I don't have to deny it because it's just not going to go anywhere. If my client wants to see that one, or if I believe my client wants to see that one, I do have to go in and approve that for my client. And that's what I like about the Collab Center. And you do have a whole summary here of everything that's going on with your client. So you can put a lot in here. And there's my search activity, Kelly's waterfront, the lottery search, and the agent recommended, the totals, matches, favorites, possibles, rejects. So that's what I love, that I can always see what is going on with my clients. The other thing I want to show you, one last thing here, you'll see that this one has an exclamation point. Guess what happened here? My client opted out. And yes, it's one of our realtors. She's a member. So what I wanted to let you know, that if a client, primary phone number, okay, I will do that in a second, Dean. If my client has opted out and it was an accident or something, just reach out to us. We'll let you know how to get that done. But it does happen, and this is what you will see if your client has opted out. All right, so Dean asked, how can he change his primary number in the Collab Center? All right, so when we go to our preferences, and usually I'm a big fan of the preferences wizard. I usually like to just get right in there and let it walk me through. But I'm going to go straight to the Collab Center. And this way they will all come up as folders on the left-hand side. So Dean wants to change his agent information. Now in the Collab Center, there are 2 sides. There's your agent side and your office side. So your agent side, here is your primary phone number. That's your cell phone. So I do have a a direct extension at the office, and that's been entered into my membership record at my real source. I could also choose to be my fax number for some crazy reason, but this is what I wanted. I did have a secondary number, and that was the office line, the direct line. So, but if you go into context, I'm going to view Betty's site just so you see what we are talking about, which number is which. So here is my primary contact information. That is my cell phone. So Dean, if your cell phone is incorrect here, that has to come through membership. We always need it. If you were just a regular agent, we always want to make sure that those types of changes are documented, not just willy-nilly. I'm changing my email, I'm changing this, because the brokerage is in charge of you guys. Your broker is. Now there is also, as I go into the contact me, I have my office information and then my information. So that's the one thing here. So Dean, if you need a change on those, if there's something wrong in the system itself, you can either enter it in the chat here and I will get it to Monica in membership, or you can send me an email, either way. All right, gang, well, it is 11 a.m. and I promised you just a 1-hour class on searching. And I think we have gotten a lot of ground today, a lot of searching and a little bit more in depth into the Collab Center. So if there aren't any other questions, all right, there we go. So if you have any other questions, just let me know. We are here for you all day, seems to be all day, every day. Thank you, Kim. Wonderful. Thank you, everybody. Remember, the handouts are in the GoToWebinar. If you want more, they are right in the MLS documents for you guys. Okay, all right. Thank you, everybody. I greatly appreciate your time, and we look forward to the next one.